Hello everyone, welcome to Chaudhary Data World channel. Today I am here with a new video on data modeling, that is data flow diagram. So what it is and what are its features, how we can use it, all these things we will be watching in detail into this particular video. So let's get started with the video. So this data flow diagram is the very first stage of any data modeling, you may say, because if suppose you want to have database architecture, or you may say data warehouse architecture for a business, then definitely you will be having first conceptual level design. That conceptual level design is before that conceptual level design of our data warehouse, we are having this data flow diagram of the whole business, that how our whole business is even working. Then only we can go ahead with having diagram or some other diagrams which I already explained. So you can go out and check that particular video out, so that you will be having understanding of, after this data flow diagram, how we can means construct our diagrams for a particular business. So in this data flow diagram, it's a very basic one. That means it is the representation of how data moves through various processes, entities, and data stores. This particular sentence would might sound you a bit of more technical, but I let me explain you one by one each of them. The first thing that it represents is the whole business, whatever you are having into that particular business process, whatever you the data it is getting flown from whichever entities, and what these entities are, again I will be explaining ahead. So all these data points are getting collated onto a particular graph, or you may say visual graph, that is called as only this data flow diagram, in which we will be watching all the components here ahead. So the components in this data flow diagram are processes, then data flow, data store, and external entity. Now how these are getting represented on symbol level. So this data flow, it is represented by a straight line, or you may say arbitrary line. So this if suppose a line is over there, it is representing the data flow. Now you can see that in this particular diagram, this particular one is the general purpose, you may say general purpose data flow diagram in front of us. So this data flow, whenever one particular process or entity or data store is getting connected, that connection it is established by this data flow. That means this line, which is used to connect processes to each other, to source or sync, uh, to arrowhead indicates the direction of the data flow, of course. After that, we are having processes into our whole business, right? There are multiple processes which can be. Suppose it can be in a file. Suppose you're if you are handling a university, right? There it might be the student registration process going on. Another would have been the employee hiring process going on. So these are different processes which are getting wrapped up with this particular circle, and when it is having those processes, it is getting mapped with other entities that are, suppose this data store or external entity, whatever the other data points are, it is getting connected with again the data flow. That means by a line. After that, we are having external entity. External entity, suppose there is a user, suppose a student registration is going on. So data would be coming from the student side. That is an external entity. It is not into our part of our business. It's something which is getting controlled by the student, which is an external thing, right? So that is the external entity which is getting linked here again by the data flow. After that, we are having data store. Now this student registration process, or whatever it is, now whatever data it is getting fed up by this student, it will be stored somewhere, right? That storage, it is called as data stored, which is represented by double line, or somewhere you can see that it will be three lines denoted over here. But for sure that one of the side of this rectangle will be not containing any lines, so that will be representing your data store. So this is how you will map your whole business and data, means you may say the data flow of whole business in on conceptual level visually. So by definition wise, you can go ahead with reading the throughout that how the what is this data flow, what is this data store, external entity, and then processes. All these things it is written over here, and you can go ahead with reading it out. Moving ahead with another thing, that is type of data flow diagram. Definitely, if suppose this diagram is there, it might be on the you may say the eagle eye view. That means the overview, very highlighted view. After that, it might go onto the granular level one by one. So this granularity, it is getting divided on the divided, and that division it is only called as type of our data flow diagram. So those are context diagram, which is the highest level of the data flow diagram. That means it will only contain the very overview of picture of your whole business system. After that, there is level 0 diagram. After that, level 1, and then there are multiple levels you can go ahead with. So level 1 it can be, level 2 it can be, 3. There is no hard and fast rule that till what extent it will be containing the information, that some particular diagram will be containing some information. It depends on you, and you can categorize that on the different levels, that it is a context diagram. After that, level 0 diagram, level 1 diagram, all these whatever written over here types, I will be showing you with some particular examples, so that all the things will become much more clearer to you. So you can see that how this level 1 context, level 0, all these things are getting mapped. So suppose if you are sitting for just to create one data flow diagram, or you may say database architecture of whole of your business, first you will map the whole business into the context diagram. That means whatever the entities are, it might be a student, it might be employee, it might be the yeah, any other stakeholders of the into your university. So that particular it will be again mapped with on the entity level. After that, this is a system. Definitely there will be a centralized system with which it will be connected. It's a context diagram which is giving you a context that how your business is working at the highest level. After that, we go more granular level, that is becoming level 0. Now this level 0, it is bifurcating the processes within the system. This might contain multiple processes, process 1, process 2, process 3, which I have already explained right now. That for a taking an example of university, that means it can have the registration process going on, it can have the admission process going on, it can have the hiring process going on of the staffs. So all these processes are different processes which is taken care into the level 0. After that, within the process there might be several sub processes as well, correct? That within the student registration, there might be the inquiry of the registration, during the registration, that inquiry of the student is becoming the one sub process of the whole registration process. There might be that if they are submitting the fee or the registration, that for that validation of fee, or you may say the check of whatever they have submitted, it is again another process. So there are multiple processes within a large process. That means there are multiple sub processes within it, which is taken care into the level 1 diagram. You can see here, right, that entity in process 2.1, process 2.2, that means whatever your process is, you will go ahead with having mapping like this, that this particular system is bifurcated in level 0. Now this processes is bifurcated in this level 1 diagram. So like this you can go ahead with creating those. Now there I have just picked up one example through from Geeks for Geeks, that it seems to be very good example to explain you guys that how this whole context level 0 and level 1 work. in practical scenario. So suppose if there is a railway reservation process, or you may say the whole business of railway reservation, and if you want to construct a database architecture for that, you need definitely these three levels are very much vital for any of the business process. That means context level, level 0, level 1. After that, you can go ahead with having creating multiple sub processes as well by bifurcating it with level 2, level 3, something like that. You can go ahead as much as granular you can. But the major practice which anybody is following is the three processes for sure, that are three levels for sure, that are context level. In context level, there is a railway reservation which is a system, right? This railway reservation is the centralized system with which passenger is also there, and which is having multiple processes to it: cancellation, reservation, ticket info, everything. Passenger is dealing with that. After that, there is admin at the back end, which railway persons are, or the railway executives are, which is the another entity here. So those are miss train info, this particular admin is taking up. After that, who what all reservation and cancellation information, whatever it is there, passenger information are there. So this is the context level view of that particular railway reservation process. Now, going to level 0, you can see here that this particular reservation process have multiple sub process into it, that are reservation storage, down storage, up storage, inquiry. So the inquiry is again the you may say one process, then reservation process is another process in this whole railway reservation system. After that, we are having different entities over here, that are passengers. Now another sub process, that is ticket generation process, report to admin process. Like these, there are different processes which is getting categorized into level 0. Now in this level 1, it become more granular level, right? Here you can see that there are multiple entities as well, that report is the entity, passenger is the entity, generate ticket is the entity. These are the end use cases of whole of your business. And the processes which are responsible to handle all these entities are that reservation process. It is handling the query process, it is having the sub process as inquiry, it is having the sub process as railway department. Now this reservation process is linked with another process, that is searching, and searching is again having the multiple sub process. Like this, you will be constructing a granular level diagram for a particular business. Moving ahead with some more examples. Suppose if you want, if you didn't understood till now that what this context level, what level 0, because this is only the important concept over here, that how you are maintaining all the levels into your business, that how you are, whenever you are going to create data flow diagram, how the levels you are bifurcating, so that it should be understandable to you as well, and understandable to other persons as well. So that also the benefit of it, if you will construct a very good levels, so the benefit is that you will end up with having very less miss into your whole business process. You will be capturing each and every data points, you will be able to capture each and every sub processes, everything you will be able to do it at very granular level. So there are multiple other examples. We are having online shopping system, suppose if you are having. So for that context level data flow diagram, that is the main system interacts with external entities such as customer, inventory database, payment gateway. These are the context level data flow diagram of this online shopping system. You can read it throughout, if you can take a screenshot and you can later read it throughout, so that you will be much more clearer that how we can construct a context level, level 0, level 1 and further. So this was whole about this our data flow diagram, and hope this video you found it very knowledgeable, and if it was helpful to you, kindly like to the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you in the next one.